Hello! How are you guys? It's Erin from Awakening Personal Power. I wanted to touch base with everyone today and do another video. In the last video I talked about action and taking action, and if there's beliefs that are in opposition to the action is hard to take because you have these beliefs that are pulling in the opposite direction. So today I wanted to talk about what to do when pain hits. So what to do if these negative beliefs come up, or it doesn't even necessarily have to be negative beliefs. A lot is coming up for people right now because people have limited options in terms of distractions, right? So a lot of inner work to do is coming up for us to see. That might be happening with close, intimate interactions with the people that you're living with. That might be happening because you're alone and there are some things coming up around being alone. Either way, there's things coming up and there's patterns coming up for all of us to look at and to see. So I wanted to talk about how to deal with pain when it does come up, just to provide a little bit more in terms of my thinking in hopes that it may help some of you. So the way I see it, when pain hits, and it can be in any situation, it can be somebody that tells you something you don't want to hear, it can be an unfulfilled expectation, it can be anything that brings up an emotion that's negative for you. So the way I see it, there are three main ways to deal with it. The first one is distraction. Now, in our current environment, distraction is very difficult because when you distract yourself from what it is that you're feeling painful about, you're going to be right back with it once again. So it's very difficult to distract ourselves during this time. And distraction is not necessarily a bad thing when pain comes up. It's actually a good thing because it can move you to a new place. But if you don't change your perspective on what it is that's creating the pain, then when you're done with the distraction, that same thing will come up again. So that's why I like to do what's called clearing work with people, where we look at the underlying perspective of what's creating the pain, and we deal with changing the perspective so that the pain doesn't come back again. So distractions right now are coming up big time for people. Addictions are coming up, drugs, internet, Facebook feed, like anything to kind of take your mind off whatever it is that's causing you pain. So one way to deal with pain is distraction. Another way to deal with pain is to move into the body. So if you're experiencing pain and a negative emotion that comes up and you move yourself into a state of extreme presence, you will eliminate that painful feeling for the moment and you can move yourself into a higher vibration. But again, this is usually only temporary because as you move out of that space and that circumstance or that situation that brought you the pain comes up again, you will experience the same emotion again, most likely, unless you've moved your perspective into a different place. So the third option is to look at what is the perspective that's creating the pain in my body. And if you look at the perspective, you'll notice that as long as you've had this perspective, it's created pain for you when you've experienced the same situation. So if you look at the perspective, you can think about what would my most aligned self be thinking about this particular thing. And if you can move yourself into the limitless possibilities of options you have in terms of choosing your perspective and choose the one that feels the very, very best, then you'll align yourself with that perspective. The thing is, you have to truly believe in the perspective that you choose. You can't just pick a perspective that feels good because it seems to be aligned, but when it doesn't actually emotionally align in your body. So you'll feel it in your body when you pick a perspective that feels right. And when you do pick a perspective that feels right, it'll just kind of clink into place. And then the next time that circumstance or situation comes up, if you go back to that same perspective that you had chosen the last time you worked on it, that's how you retrain your brain and your mind to respond, and your body, really your body. You use your mind to retrain your body in a positive way so that the next time that circumstance comes up or that situation comes up, you'll react to it in a different way, and that's how you know that what you've done has worked. So just to summarize, we talked about three ways of dealing with pain. Distraction, which isn't bad, but it leaves you in the same place when that situation comes up next time. We talked about doing kind of like energy work with your body, where you take deep breaths, you move yourself into a state of extreme presence, you stop thinking and you move into the body, you move into the heart, you move into all the chakras, and you you really soothe the pain through the body. And again, that works, completely works. And you can actually use that to put yourself in the frame of mind to then choose a new perspective. But if you don't choose a new perspective on the situation, when that situation comes up again, you'll have that same emotional reaction. So the third option is to change your perspective on what it is that's creating the emotion of pain, because it's the thought that creates the emotion. So if your thought's out of alignment with your highest aligned self, then you will be experiencing the pain of that. So I hope this helps everybody. I've been doing this a lot over the last few days, and that's why I'm sharing this video, because it's been really, really helping me, and I'm noticing different patterns that I've had for years and years that have caused me a tremendous amount of pain. Stuff like jealousy, or, I mean, that's a huge one, just even that, you know, taking that and looking at it directly in the eye and being like, okay, what is the perspective that I'm thinking about this situation? What am I most scared of? And what's really the perspective that's most in alignment with who I truly am? And as soon as you choose that perspective, you don't ever have to go back to the old perspective. That's the other thing. If you decide to pick up the old perspective, remember that's your choice. But once you do this work, even though the situation and the perspective may come up again, it's not going to continue to come up if you continue to choose a different way of looking at it. I'm sending so much love out to you guys. If you want to hop over to the Awakening Personal Power Group and join our group, it would be awesome. We're a group of creators manifesting together and supporting one another. Love you guys. Stay well. Be safe. Till next time.